mean, I don't know. I don't even know if PDM's meant to have a business license.
See, I think this is just like for small businesses. That's like small business association, and then like places like Weasel News, PDM, Benny's. Those are corporations.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Hayes did it, so yeah, that is something that would be outlined. And then you can also see here one of the claims. Bryce said he left the documents in the office. So if you just wanted to take a gander around for yourself and see if you can find those missing templates, I can
Let
show
me
you what
let
it's
me
supposed to look like.
let me have a look around the other side. Oh,
Yeah. So that's mine. And we're supposed to have templates just like that,
mm-hmm. Makes
but
sense.
blank, no details. So those are the only
So
things
you
that he
had
didn't
to
return. I had to
you
take
had to
mine, photocopy
oh
it, white out the details on the copy, photocopy it again so it looks seamless, and then fill that out with someone else's information.
that's the clusterfuck.
And then nobody could submit anything for business or alcohol licenses because he took the document. So even if they did fill out an application, Bryce took the binder with everyone's recorded responses.
Oh,
We had no
what?
access.
Oh, why did I can't remember why did Mr. Maxwell step down from deputy mayor? Did he get fired or did he leave or?
It was following a meeting that was at the SBA where he attempted to do something unconstitutional, which was postpone the mayor election because it was floating between two reasons. But the governor's reason was concern over the quality of candidates. I pointed out an issue, which was the elections were supposed to be completed by April 4th, 1985, as dictated in the Constitution. You postponing it is unconstitutional. And he
I
pushed,
think I remember you
yeah.
telling me about this issue.
And you
Yeah,
said, what was Bryce doing? Was he talking over? And
yeah.
that's when he said, are you going to keep bitching that the governor does too much or bitching that they do not enough? For pointing out that what he wanted to do was unconstitutional, and just because there was no chief justice that you were aware of, that doesn't mean we can just proceed with your plan.
Mm. It really feels like he was grasping at the straws of power, and then he got them, and then dropped them all on the floor, and then didn't pick them back up.
No, and then I threw a wrench in the whole machine because I pointed this
Mm.
out. So I was the only one that was not on board.
Yeah, some might call you a whistleblower.
I mean, wouldn't you say that's his job as the attorney? Didn't he like to call
Mm.
himself the legal aid of the mayor's office or something of that nature?
Did a pretty bad job of it, though, eh?
Yeah. Like, this is something that you should be calling out, not endorsing because
Mm-hmm.
it suits you. So yeah, I can go through what I sent to the Chief Justice and his reservations and the DAs.
Well, what? I'm more than happy for you to go through that, Miss Kelly.
Okay.
Also, quickly, just so what I said earlier, with regards to my you know, what was the word? My well, what's the fucking word? The inspiration and not, you know, what I mean, to actually go down and like IPDM and that was pretty low, because like I became a manager and that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I was told all these new things I could do, I'd have to, I can't do them, you know. No, I can do them, but I'm, you know, restrictions were put in place, and I'm like, right, okay.
So you became
So,
demotivated.
yeah, it basically meant that I but being a manager, I, it, there was there was nothing extra, you know, because everything I could do by being a manager, they were like, no, you know. That's why I lost a little bit of motivation for it, you know.
Yeah, I understand.
Anyway, on to the subject at hand. Just thought I'd let you know where my headspace be.
Okay, so I don't know if talking to Bryce, the DA, ascertained the exact date that the embezzlement started. Um, Bryce could be claiming that the documents disappeared the day that he left office. The day that it was discovered was the 1st of April. So I pointed out that depending on the type of crime, statute of limitations begins when the offense is committed or discovered. And that is all dependent upon the type of crime. So for embezzlement, it's not something like shooting or a bank robbery. There's no loud noises that direct your attention to it. So how do you know that the crime has been committed until you discover it yourself? And that's why as soon as I discovered it, I sent a fax to the mayor, and this date was notated as April 1st. So I still have a fax proving that we're within the 30 days if that is respected. And then delaying the process to file should not negate the fact that the mayor's office is still within their legal rights.
I will say that I'm very surprised that the DA said that they're not going to touch it, you know?
I think maybe he felt like it was probably a case that he couldn't win. Because one thing that he pointed out that... Well, one thing that I pointed out was, you say it's outside the 30 days, but what about that point that I just brought up? Depending on the type of crime, an offense is... The statute of limitations starts when it's committed or discovered. And then there's the continuing violation doctrine. The statute of limitations does not begin until the last criminal action has occurred. The templates that I just showed you, they're still missing. So the embezzlement is still happening.
Which means that realistically, there isn't any statute of limitations.
Yeah, the timer hasn't started.
I think with something like this, I would need to speak to a judge, you know?
Yeah.
First of all, I should firstly just say to them, listen, as a Chief Justice, you know, because we don't have any other judges, do we?
No.
So, you know, as a Chief Justice, I understand, like, you know, but really charges should be getting placed against us in the first place, you know.
I agree.
Whether that be good, I mean, I'm very surprised the DA just don't go straight for, you know, the biggest charge they could throw at it, you know.
He did say, you know, treason, government corruption, let's just go high. But then after speaking with the Chief Justice, he changed his mind. He doesn't think that this is something that we should pursue. And at the very best, because this issue has been brought up, there's going to be an amendment to the Constitution about intellectual property. But one of the reasons that the Chief Justice said, blockage, what does that have to do with the crime that was committed? If I was suing him for damages, blockage is relevant. The fact that I was able to replicate the missing document using my own doesn't erase the original wrongdoing. I wouldn't have had to do this if he didn't take the original documents in the first place. I do not have to prove blockage in licensing processing to establish that taking the documents was unlawful. That's not a requirement in embezzlement. That's why when you brought it up, I already mentioned that point.
Yeah, just a quick sidebar. There's never any small cases here, is there? Jesus.
No. And then the returning of the documents, it shows an attempt at atonement, but it doesn't negate the fact that the documents were taken. So let's say you stole a gallon of milk from a 24/7, and then you put the milk back. That's not a reasonable defense for why someone can't press charges against you for stealing that milk in the first place. They realized it was stolen. You still committed the crime. It's up to their discretion to press charges.
You want to have shot them, but then I gave them medical aid.
Yeah, so I can't be held liable for shooting them. No, that's not how justice works. So, and then the fact that I just had you look around the office.
I wonder if it's been... I hope this isn't the case. I wonder if it's been... I wonder if they don't want to be really dealing with it because of the bigger implications, you know?
Well, I don't think that should stop the due process of justice, because
No, I agree.
then it brings up the issue that people were saying how government officials are not held accountable for their actions. So because Bryce was deputy mayor, he shouldn't be held accountable because Bryce is now a private attorney.
Oh, wait, he's a private attorney now, not a defence just a wrong one.
Nope, he left. And that's why he wants to claim it as intellectual property, but
If he did that whilst working as deputy mayor, then that certainly belongs to the mayor's office. Jesus.
yeah,
I did not think I'd be having a conversation about intellectual property this evening.
yeah, but it's like if you knew that we only had authorization to create those documents because the mayor's office, it only deals with the city. The borders are clearly outlined in the Constitution. The only reason that we have the authority to write a state document to issue these licenses statewide is because we were given the authority of the governor's office, not Bryce, the deputy mayor, as part of the mayor's office. This was not your intellectual property. Well, yes, it is, but nobody commissioned you to do this. You did this in capacity as deputy mayor.
It don't belong to him just because he wrote it.
And then, well, they said there's no language in the Constitution for that. Okay, so what about the rights of the citizens who, when they read those terms and conditions, have you seen the terms and conditions?
No, I actually haven't.
I can slide you a copy.
Move it.
Everywhere in that document, you see City of Los Santos, State of San Andreas. Everything goes back to the state. Not a single one mentions the intellectual property of Bryce Maxwell, and upon his departure, he may be in possession of your private information. So if he wants to say the document is his, the words written on that document are not. Those are private citizens who believed they were giving their information to the state. You stole private records.
Yeah, no, that license terms and conditions will greatly help.
I told you, I've been doing footwork here.
Making my life just that tad bit easier, Miss Kelly.
Okay, so then I went through the chain of events, how everything happened. First, I realized the embezzlement because the denial of access. Myself, Mayor Marino, and Athena, the remaining City Hall employees, we no longer had access to the documents, the records, the templates. Then I had Mayor Marino.
Wait, so did you have access to the templates and then your access was revoked to the templates? Or?
Yes, and I can prove it. I was mailed a key in March. Athena and the mayor was as well. So this is one of the things that the district attorney wanted to do in discovery. He wanted to see when the locksmiths came in and changed locks and documents were removed. So that's when he said it'll prove that it was outside the 30-day window. But that's why it's when the crime was committed or the date of discovery. We cannot, unless somebody's shouting, "I'm embezzling from the mayor's office," you don't know until you go looking for it. So I looked for it and I found it on the 1st. And then I took a picture of me trying to put my key in the lock and the mismatch. It wouldn't fit anymore. I have that dated.
See, that's on. There's no way you don't change the lock accidentally, you know?
Yeah. So Mayor Marino, Athena, and I were all witnesses. None of our keys worked. I had Mayor Marino reach out to Bryce, which he had to do twice. If Bryce left the documents inside this office like he told the district attorney, why did Mayor Marino have to contact you before we got new keys issued in April? And then we regained access to the documents. That step wouldn't have been necessary if they were here in this office in the first place, if you did not change locks. And then what happened after that? He only returned part of the documents. Like I said, the template was missing. So I was at Tequila Law at a party. I think you were there. It's when Priya and I had the matching outfits. And then I had to leave.
Yes.
Yeah, because Mayor Marino needed me, because he needed to issue a license to new business owners, and that was impossible without me, because we still did not have the missing templates. So that's when I had to photocopy my license and then omit my details, so that way they can have a blank template to fill out their paperwork and get their license issued.
It's just confusing me because, like, it not confusing, frustrating me because, like, there's no way that all that, then, there's no way that him changing the locks and that was not done for any other reason to inconvenience and cause issues, you know? It isn't.
Yeah, there's no way. But okay, we'll give him. We were still kind about it. We will give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you didn't do this maliciously. Like if you say, you just packed up your stuff, you put it all in, the cardboard box, and you walked out of here, the papers could have, you weren't really paying attention. You were just packing up everything. You took it with you. So, how come you were recorded making a public accusation implying corruption within the mayor's office? We gave you the benefit of the doubt, but now you're coming forward with unsubstantiated claims trying to hurt the credibility of the mayor's office.
I really hope that this don't get shut down, you know? Because it really feels like he needs someone just to go him and just, well, the court just to, put him in his place, as bad as it sounds, you know?
Yeah, so the mishandling of the documents could have just fallen in the box, sure. There was no reason for us to think he took it maliciously. In his resignation letter, that's why I wanted to address that too, he publicly stated, City Hall will continue normal operations to bring essential services to the public. One of the services we offer is issuing business licenses. Then, earlier this week, he created room for us to believe that there's doubt, like he had malicious intent when those documents went missing, when he made his slanderous accusation implying corruption in the mayor's office. Because if he's willing to hurt the credibility of the mayor's office with slanderous, unsubstantiated claims, then the argument can also be made that he's willing to hurt the credibility of the mayor's office by hindering its efficiency. So without him, now we're inefficient. Now we're incompetent because we can no longer do one of the normal City Hall operations, and that is to issue licenses to new business owners.
I really wish either DI or Chief Justice was around right now, you know?
Yeah, so I brought this all to the DA. He talked about some charges. He said he wanted to do initial discovery. That's when he talked with Bryce. So this is the third time Bryce was contacted in regards to these documents. And that's when Bryce said, no, I didn't take any documents. But then why did Mayor Marino had to reissue us new keys? Why did we not have access to these documents for 5 days?
Did you explain that to the DA after the fact, or?
I did. I explained all of this to him. That's why he approached him to get Bryce's statements. So I actually like that the DA came back with this information because now he is a fourth witness. Did Bryce deny taking these documents? Yes. Can I prove that I did not have access to these documents? Yes. So Bryce is lying. And then him denying that he took them after he returned them. Why was that step necessary? And then it's even after you made public slanderous accusations. So this is probably a strategic lie because now he sees that legal counsel is mounting against him. And you know what's interesting? He did not speak out against the mayor's office. It's as though he waited the 30 days. He knew what he did. He waited 30 days. And then he started saying whatever he wanted because, outside the 30 days, I can say whatever I want. But I don't know if he knew about this crime committed versus crime discovery time and then the ongoing violation doctrine. I don't know if he knew about that.
Probably not.
But then, yeah, if you accidentally took documents, would you assert intellectual property to justify taking the documents if it was an accident?
No, I'd just be like, whoopsie daisies.
Yeah, I made a mistake. I returned the documents.
I think the next step in this is speaking to myself, speaking to DA, and if that don't go the way I think it should go, going higher, well, with Jason, you know what I mean, Chief Justice,
Because, like I told you, for the intellectual property claim, you can't say that for people's personal information that they believe they were handing over to the state. So then that's government corruption on your part, Bryce. You use the state to get people's records.
when does this DA tend to be around, you know?
He was around this time or maybe 2 hours from now yesterday. I don't think he has specific hours of operation.
Okay. Because I mean, I'm definitely not going to be around in 2 hours from now. But if you could do me a favour, if you run into him, please do pass along my contact details because I would like to have a conversation with him in regards to this, you know?
If you wanted to talk to the Chief Justice, I might be able to send him a fax to see if he'd be willing to talk.
No, I'd like to speak to them both about it.
Because maybe he can tell you the same reservations that the DA had, so that way you're on the same page. But like, this is my line of thinking.
Yeah, you know, I think that your line, I personally, I don't understand. I have no idea. I mean, I understand their reservations, but that don't, for me personally, don't add up to what crime has been committed and what has been the trust that's been broken by Mr. Maxwell, you know?
Yes. Because I didn't even think about it until we actually started digging into this. He stole people's personal information. You didn't just steal from the mayor's office, you stole from the citizens.
And the fact that if not were done about this, the fact that he'd just be allowed to continue to operate with a bar license is.
Yeah, as a lawyer, representing citizens whose trust you've probably betrayed when you took their personal information without authority. So yeah, I can send a fax to the Chief Justice now and see if we can get him in here.
That would be fantastic, thank you. You don't have any food on you by any chance, do you?
I do. I brought a bunch of ice cream.
I'm not going to make you through the summer.
You gotta stand up. I'm not just gonna place it on your lap.
Well, legs don't work no good.
There you go.
Ain't you kindly?
What I need to eat, so.
I think if this would go to trial, I think he would get convicted of not only embezzlement, but some level of corruption as well. Um, as long as the prosecution's argument was, mentioned all the things that you've mentioned, with all of the details and witnesses and that, I don't see what he could say that would, you know, take away from what he did. Even, it's gone so far that it being an accident is just not in the cards.
Yeah, because I mean, he could justify the new locks that he put in for any number of reasons, but then after that, the the lack of communication,
Hmm.
and then
And
you
then
said that the documents were here, but Mayor Marino had to get them from you, so that way
mhm.
Athena and
and,
I can once again issue. So there's a lot of inconsistencies in his
mhm.
story.
And the implication that he said the things he said to try and put distrust into the mayor's office after doing that. That is the key thing, I think. You
Yeah,
know, because without that,
it shows harm.
yeah, there's not much motive.
Yeah, that's what I thought was also a selling point too. Mens rea, intent. So what was the
Hmm.
intent behind the embezzlement? If it was an accident, we don't really have much ground to stand on. But
Hmm.
because of
If it
his
was to make you guys
actions,
look
yeah,
bad.
because of what
Hmm.
he said, he is willing to slander the and harm the credibility of the mayor's office. So it leaves doubt that his actions were not without harm. He could have done this to hinder the efficiency of the mayor's office and tank our credibility there, like over and over, repeated attacks.
But yeah, no, I do genuinely think that this is worth taking into a courtroom. You know, I
I
do.
agree. See, and one
And
thing that
just
kind of stuck with me
sorry.
when the DA said it is just like if he is used to like if he's sloppy and he makes these kind of mistakes, then you just wait for him to make a mistake again.
Well, at that point,
So
anything
as
that was
a private
committed in the
attorney, he
past.
has keys to DOJ. What if he's been clocking on and like embezzling funds? Because you're private, so the only time you should clock on is when you need the MDT for a case.
Or when you're unlocking the front doors of City Hall because they were locked.
Fair, yes.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see what what Chief Justice will say and what you know because I mean when did you bring it up to the DA last
Yesterday.
yesterday? Okay.
Because I discovered it on the 1st, so if we're going statute of limitations off the discovery, May 1st is the
Mm.
last day. But then, like I tried to tell him, the case is ongoing. But he said you had to prove blockage. You don't have to prove, unless I'm suing him for damages because him taking the documents hurt somebody. I'm pressing criminal charges that he took these documents. You don't have to prove that somebody was hurt, according to what's in the penal code, just that he took them without the authority of
Hmm.
the mayor's office. And I'm saying he didn't have authority. Mayor Reno would say that, and Athena would say it as well. No one gave him the authority to take these documents with him when he left office. He didn't even talk to anybody.
I mean, yeah, I know I've not been around too much, but Jesus, I didn't see a single thread of him for like ages.
I think I saw him the day that he put up his letter of resignation because he walked into City Hall. He walked past everybody. He had nothing to say. Then I watched him walk toward the staircase. He was upstairs for a while. That could have been when he was taking the documents, who knows? Or that could have been when he was drafting his letter of resignation. Then he came back down. He pulled Riley aside, and that's when Riley came back in and said, Bryce was just saying bye. The office is better off without him. So there was never any communication between anyone that was still going to be working in the mayor's office after that and Bryce to give him the authority to take those documents out with him. Like, if you're packing up your office, that's fine. As long as you only take things that belong to you.
Mm-hmm. Did you get any word back from Harris?
Mm-mm.
Well, okay. Well, what I'll do then, I'll try and reach out to him, see if we can have a catch up.
I'll see if you can fax him.
Yeah, because I've got a few things I want to do before I take a little sleep tonight. So.
And if he does respond, I'll fax you, of course, and let you know. Like, he says he can come into the office. Yeah, but I'll give it like 2 hours, so that way, if you're already tucked into bed, then it's a non-factor for the day.
Yeah, I will most likely be tucked into bed very shortly. I want to call around PD first and just see who's about and how they're doing it. It's been a while.
Yeah, because there's the tape, and then I'm sure anyone that was there, they're also witness that Bryce made these slanderous accusations.
Mm-hmm.
Or did you just want to, check up on how he's been since he's been back?
Yeah, I want to ask a few questions to some of the officers, but in a way that don't seem like I'm trying to fact find, Just asking about a friend,
Yeah, I think they'd believe it because you're a private attorney. They wouldn't expect the mayor's office to have reached out to ask you to serve as special prosecution. Like, you just heard, hey, I'm a private attorney. Bryce is a private attorney. How's he been?
I mean, I'm hoping Mr. Eastwood is around. Me and him get along like a house on fire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna head down to PD now. But it's been a great catch up and that. I'm very much looking forward to see where this goes, and I'm hoping that we can get at least a little bit of justice,
Yeah. Because I think Chief Justice even said it, like, you shouldn't go into every court case expecting I need to win. It's all about my record. But it's just like, you should speak up. Like, if you see something, you should say something, because then people get away with the things that they do, and then how do we learn? How do we move on from here? Oh, just, catch it next time, just deal with the next one. It's just like, no, we can deal with it now. And if at the very least,
might be a lot worse,
Yeah, if at the very least people know this is what he's like. He left the DOJ for the mayor's office, left his clients in shambles. He left the mayor's office. He was trying to potentially leave it in shambles. Like, now we can't serve the public. Now this office could have potentially betrayed their trust when he took those documents out of here.
I've just thought of a fantastic opening line for the opening.
What is it?
Roughly on the lines of, so, Mr. Maxwell, he started off with the DOJ. It worked hard at the DOJ for some time before he unexpectedly left. This caused a lot of turmoil. Cases weren't finished, things weren't resolved, clients was left out to pasture. Mr. Maxwell it decides to move along to the mayor's office, and once again, it can be seen he tries to do it again. Through the evidence we have here today, I think I think that we can more than prove that what he did is not only put the not only put the mayor's office into shambles, but yeah, something like that. You know, I need to properly write it out, but that's just on the top of my head.
I understand because when he left the first time, you saw the backlash, the outrage from people, them calling for his removal. You hurt people. And then instead of learning from that, you did the same thing. Like before, you could say, you know, it was unintentional. You thought you could serve greater in the mayor's office. This time, with you slandering the mayor's office, you can't say it was unintentional. You can't.
I just don't know what his plan is, you know. Like, what does someone who is so clearly hated by 98% of this city...
No, that's the thing. Because of the tourism initiative, do you know that a tourism initiative is coming about next month? Toward the end?
Is that when...
They're hoping that the city can hold a capacity of 150,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe right now, because some new tourists have started to trickle in, this is a good time to try to reestablish his name, because not everyone will know him as a public defender. Not everyone will know him as the former deputy mayor.
So he's trying to reestablish himself as the good guy, so that when people come in, right.
And then if you're always waiting in the LSSD as soon as they call for a lawyer, Bryce Maxwell here.
Right
Hi, nice to meet you. Bryce Maxwell here. Just first face you see, first time in the cells. You just immediately trust the guy.
So I'm making an assumption, by the way, that even as a private attorney, I can still do the things the cell reps and yeah.
If you can't, I have no idea why he's sitting in LSD all day. Because the pages, they still go out.
I have a feeling that the answer is yes, but technically we're doing each one pro bono, you know? Just a way around it, sort of.
See, I'm really hoping the chief judge, because maybe if you're doing public defense, maybe he allows you to clock on for a paycheck, and then that, you know, the state's paying you for being there in the absence of a public defender. So that would be a good question to get answered, or maybe like the LSSD can tell you. Like, you could just say, as a private attorney, does Bryce represent in the cells? Oh, cool, then you can represent the cells.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I do love a good cell rep, you know. I had to actually have quite a long conversation with both Chief Justice and Miss Chaser about why having a bit, because obviously they've got that parole system now, haven't they?
They're still working on that, getting the bail system in, yeah.
Okay. But I was saying to them, like, well, if they either get guilty or not guilty in the cells, then what's the point of having a lawyer there, you know? Like,
no, that's when you need the lawyer. Because you will not immediately serve time. You will get to get out on bail. And then you are going to have a set time frame to get a case on the docket. So you're going to need that lawyer. Because once that set time runs out, and if you didn't plead your case, you're going to jail, and you're going to serve the time.
So what I meant is having the discussion about the charges, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Between the lawyer and the arresting officer. They were saying they want out with that, and I was like, I don't think that's a good idea.
They kind of want to remove some of the power from the deputies, because right now, from what Grandpa said, you guys go to the cells and they've already worked out the best possible deal. You're just there to say, yeah, that's a good deal, you take it.
I think that, yeah, they should be more strict with it, but they should also, in certain regards, I mean, it depends on the officer. You always going to get the officers who you can't control everything that everyone do. It's not a healthy way to do it. If an officer wants to be lenient, then they're lenient. But if they want to be strict and hard and that, then they can be.
See, then it sounds like the officers are controlling the justice that gets dealt out.
I understand that, but also it's a difficult one, because I believe the person going down to the cells, there's a level of pleading the case there, and say for example, I don't know, someone gets arrested for assault, right?
Mm-hmm.
I go down, maybe I can talk that down to a lesser sentence,
Yeah.
And if they don't agree, then yeah, court case,
But that's the process he wants it to be. So they have the charges. This is what they did, and then it's your job as the lawyer. Yes, he actually wants there to be more negotiating between the lawyer and the deputies. So that's why this person did this. They're going to give you their charges. Yes, you are still more than welcome to negotiate those charges.
I absolutely love getting all
Oh yeah, the bail system isn't going to negate
lawyery.
That. Because, when someone gets Mirandized, you have the right to an attorney. It's not, after your hearing, you get that attorney. It's down there. You can negotiate the charges.
It's like with the original conversation I had with both of them separately, they were saying, they were implying that they'd be getting gone. So I ended up saying to them, well, actually, from my point of view, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, because right now it doesn't feel like, unless like a civil case came along, like that's when I really saw you guys light up. But other than that, you go to the cells, all the work just sounds like it was pretty much handled. And there's not much for lawyers to do.
I like cell reps, right? I really do. I love cell reps, and I love the bench trials. I do. I love them. That's my bread and butter. That's what I spent majority of my career doing.
Mm-hmm.
Cell reps, bench trials, that and that, bang, bang, push. So, when I came here, and they were a little bit more convoluted, do I say, the actual, whole system for cases and that was a lot, compared to what I was used to.
Oh, you mean like more deputy intervention, or?
No, I mean so say, for example, I don't know, my client pleaded not guilty. We then went to trial. The whole pre-trial thing, there was just so much to it, more than I'd experienced in the past, back in London.
Oh, so here they want more requirements, more steps before you can actually see the courtroom.
Yeah, well, it felt that way. I mean, I think it has been shrunk a little bit. It was when Dad was, prosecutor and then DEA and then, there was so much back and forth. It was fucking ridiculous.
I think Grandpa's working to streamline the process.
As much as I love paperwork, and I do love my paperwork, there needs to be there needs to be No, I do want to try and be, around more and actually do my private attorney things more and such.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be more interesting for you, and you'll have someone that you can, and they have law classes that are coming up too.
Okay.
Like this week alone, 4 new lawyers.
Really? Bloody hell.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good.
Yeah, like Grandpa spoke at the state assembly.
How was Miss Chaser been doing?
I'm not sure if she's overwhelmed, but it feels like she's always busy. Because I don't think anyone has applied for PDO yet, so she is still the go-to public defender for the state. And I imagine with the public defending and then the private clients, it can probably be a lot.
Well, it's not, even though I want to see around too much as a public defender, my PR was still there. She could have reached out whenever and actually asked me for assistance taking other cases, but you know, I never got one.
Because I know I've seen Amber go on LOA at least twice since she's been in the state.
I think I think the reason why I sort of stepped back, you know, obviously the whole thing with Mr. Volkov and that, but also like I've done it consistently, nothing else, for a long time. You know, I was the second ever lawyer in the state, so
I know how that feels. I can't wait to dive into my fashion stuff. It's gonna be like a vacation.
it's why like, I jumped at the idea of running something else, but even that, I'm like, Jesus.
But like some things never change.
Yep. Actually, I'm going to put out another flyer this evening. I'm going to do that before I go to sleep, saying that PDM is hiring.
Good.
Like,
Yes.
2 or 3 more people.
Yes, people have definitely talked about, some employees opening in the morning. Because there's probably no one in the morning. And then when I wanted to buy my car, there was nobody, but luckily they chased someone down at the PO like, hi, could you open for like 5 minutes so we could buy our cars? So that's kind of how it's been. Like, if you see someone, you know them, you write them.
Have you seen Sugar at all?
I did see a flyer from him this past week, but
okay.
Yeah, that's the only one. Like, I feel like he has been opening PDM as much as you have been. He's been gone for a little bit, at least on the bulletin boards.
That's fair.
And then when people open PDM recently, I've seen faces like Mick, I've seen Bob, and I think there's
I promoted
Laura.
Bob before I took my little vacation. Promoted him to a supervisor.
And they say some people order the cars, and then the worry is that they don't come back for them, and then the company has to pay.
Such a stupid system. I'm not going to lie to you.
I think you guys should start taking deposits.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, and then if they come back for their car, you return their deposit after they've signed on the dotted line. Like, thank you, here's your new car, enjoy. So you're just not taking the full brunt of it if someone just decides, you know what, this car's not for me. My friends actually talked me out of it.
Not bad idea. I mean, originally I was going to talk down to the SBA and see if they could change the 10-minute wait to a 5-minute wait. But I decided against it because of the exact reason,
Yeah, give the truck drivers time. You don't want them, like, peeling across the city with a car in their 16-wheeler just, so someone doesn't get bored. If you're getting bored in 10 minutes? Really?
You would be surprised.
Like, you came to buy a car. Like, you have to sign paperwork, insurance. Like, there's a lot of information that you're putting down on this. It's not just, take my money. Okay, bye.
It feels like sometimes. But yeah, I think I'm going to head down to the LSSD now, see if it's about, and go put that flyer up and then go get some Betty Bryce.
Okay.
But this chat's been great and it's been very informative. And I look forward to see where things go from here, yeah.
Do you think that, just from what I've said, you'd have enough to, like, prep something for the docket? So if, like, just so it's on the docket, so that way they can't say, that discovery day is no longer valid?
I'm going to start writing up the motion to...
The motion to what?
The motion to file a criminal docket. I'm going to start writing one of them up now.
Okay, and then I guess the steps to serve a special prosecution.
Yeah, I don't really know how the special prosecution stuff works, but I'm just going to assume it's like a prosecutor would do.
Well, from the facts that I got from Chief Justice, his advice would be that the mayor's office seek assistance from a bar-certified attorney. They did not say prosecutor. And you are a bar-certified attorney. So if he has any more steps, I'm sure he'll outline them.
I very much need a few of them steps because, like, obviously, an attorney normally would be defending someone. So being on the other side of that, I just need to figure out the details, you know.
Well, hopefully I've made it a little easier for you with the
Oh
stuff I
no,
put together.
you have made it huge. I've in my head, I've got the argument and I've got what's going to be articulated and how it's going to be articulated.
Perfect.
I just need the
The process.
steps,
Yeah.
yeah, the process to actually do it, you know. Because if I was say an actual prostitute, oh, bang bang, dusted paper were done already, you know. But
Well, if he does show up later tonight, I'll see if I can get him to hand me over the documents, whatever
then
needs to be
just
signed, what needs to
yeah,
be said, and then I'll fax it directly to you.
fantastic. Well, I'm gonna go show my face and say hello and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure you didn't know, Miss Kelly.
Yeah, and I want to make sure you get paid, so let me know your fees.
I will do. I will calculate. Oh, I will calculate them and send them over to you.
Perfect. Hey, maybe this will help create the argument. We'll keep you on retainer with the mayor's office, so regular
Yeah,
paychecks.
that would not be a thing to snoop my nose up at. I'm looking at maybe, you know, when the what was flag there, when the Dynasty 8 actually opens and that, buying an office for a law firm.
Ooh, yeah.
I think that would be quite fun, you know.
I think some are actually scouting from now because I saw a flyer from Ray. In case he did say, yep, he is one of the Dynasty 8 people, and so is Casey. So if you did
Okay,
want to scout locations, I would say maybe grab one of those too.
I will try to find them. I say that the days that I tend to be around are severely limited to what they used to be.
Well, I really appreciate you flying in for this.
Yeah, of course. No, as soon as you said, "Oh," I will make sure to be able to do that.
And I'm sure the court would find a reasonable time to like accommodate you and Bryce.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them. Past a certain time, I'm more available. Around this time, I am available. I just there's consequences to me being available around this time.
No, I understand. That's why we tried to move the council meeting so that way it's accessible to everybody. Nobody has to feel,
Exhausted,
yeah, because I
so
set my alarm
so
clock
sleepy,
pretty late, so it just feels
so
like it's
so
1 in
very
the
sleepy.
morning. Yeah, it's an awful feeling.
My eyes hurt.
No, see, oh my god. But yeah, you get to the LSSD and you get to bed. If anytime in the next hour Chief Justice shows up, you'll get a fax.
Perfect, thank you. I'll try not to fall asleep at the wheel.
God, please no, don't get the felony. I need you. Office. Possible event idea for government employees. Ooh.